The Legend of Zelda franchise has been quietly haunting its players for decades. We're talking mysteries that have kept fans arguing for years with no clear resolution. So today, I'm breaking down every single one, starting with a creature that traumatized an entire generation: the origin of Redeeds. If you played Ocarina of Time as a child, you remember Redeeds. Pale, skeletal, disturbingly human-shaped creatures that screamed at you until you couldn't move. They weren't just enemies, they were a genuine psychological event. But here's the thing, the official explanation for what they are doesn't match what everyone assumes. The overwhelming fan theory is that Redeeds were originally human beings, reanimated through dark magic. They're found in historically significant locations, they have human proportions, and they behave exactly like undead civilians. Everything about their design screams zombie, but Nintendo's own material tells a completely different story. The Smash Bros. Trophy description states that Redeeds are constructed from clay, not undead, not reanimated, just clay. Which is, a completely different thing. So the entire fan base treats Redeeds as horrifying zombies, while Nintendo says they're basically pottery. And they've never elaborated beyond that. I don't know what to tell you, but if you think one unexplained mystery is frustrating, wait until you hear about the fairy that vanished without a trace. What happened to Navi is simultaneously the most mocked and most mourned companion in gaming history. And honestly, she earned both. At the end of Ocarina of Time, after Link defeats Ganon and literally saves the world, Navi just silently flies away. No explanation, no goodbye. She floats up toward a window in the Temple of Time and vanishes. That's the last anyone ever sees of her in any Zelda game, ever. The leading theory suggests that when Zelda sent Link back to his childhood, the temporal manipulation severed the magical bond connecting Fairy to Hero. Navi didn't choose to leave, she ceased to exist in that timeline, which is, not ideal. Some theorists have gone even deeper, combing through Wind Waker for hidden references to Navi's fate. The search has been going on for over 25 years. Here's the thing that makes this one sting. Nintendo could resolve this mystery with a single sentence, one throwaway line in a sequel. They've had countless opportunities across decades of games and official materials. They've said nothing. The silence feels deliberate, like they know exactly what happened to Navi and have decided you don't get to find out. But if a missing fairy bothers you, wait until you hear about a song that technically created itself, the Song of Storms Paradox. This one breaks people's brains, and honestly, it should. Here's the setup. Adult Link walks into the Kakariko windmill and meets a furious man who teaches him a song out of sheer rage. The windmill man is angry because some kid once played a melody that drained his well and wrecked everything. That kid? Link. The problem? Link only knows the song because the windmill man taught it to him, which only happened because Link already played it. There is no first performance. The song has no composer, no origin, no moment of creation. It just exists because it exists. That's a bootstrap paradox, and it's one of the cleanest examples in all of gaming. And the effects are real. Playing it inside the windmill drains the well completely, opening access to the bottom of the well dungeon. Tangible consequences from a melody that technically shouldn't exist. The most accepted theory is that Ocarina of Time's time mechanics simply allow self-reinforcing causal loops. Certain events don't need a starting point, they just are. The windmill man is trapped in an eternal cycle of his own fury, teaching Link the very song that ruins his life forever. Nintendo has never confirmed whether this was intentional design or a happy accident, which is, not ideal. But if a song with no origin creeps you out, wait until you meet the man who might not even be human. The Happy Mask Salesman. Every Zelda game has weird characters. That's basically a franchise requirement. But the Happy Mask Salesman isn't weird in the way other Zelda characters are weird. He feels like he wandered in from a completely different series, and nobody had the heart to tell him to leave. He appears across Hyrule and Termina, selling masks with a smile that never quite reaches his eyes. Normal merchant behavior, right? Except normal merchants don't travel seamlessly between dimensions. Normal merchants don't possess frantic knowledge about an apocalyptic mask capable of destroying an entire world. And normal merchants definitely don't corner a child in a clock tower and beg him to retrieve said mask with the energy of someone whose entire existence depends on getting it back. Here's where it gets complicated. The leading theory positions him as a servant or avatar of a cosmic force, potentially connected to Majora itself, collecting masks not as merchandise but as magical artifacts for some larger, deeply ominous purpose. He knows too much, he moves too freely, he exists in places he shouldn't be able to reach. And Nintendo has given us absolutely nothing. Zero backstory, no origin, no explanation for his timeline hopping abilities. He shows up across multiple games with perfectly consistent characterization and literally no history. I don't know what to tell you. He's a complete void wrapped in a grin. But if one mysterious figure with no backstory unsettles you, wait until you hear about entire civilizations that appeared. reshaped Hyrule's history and vanished without a trace. The Zonai and the Interlopers. Before Tears of the Kingdom came out, the Zonai were basically wallpaper. You'd stumble across some crumbling ruins in Breath of the Wild, maybe pick up a weird armor set covered in dragon motifs, and that was it. Then Tears of the Kingdom dropped, and suddenly these guys were descendants of gods who came from the sky, and the entire cosmological history of Hyrule got flipped on its head overnight. Here's where it gets complicated. Twilight Princess introduced the Interlopers, a mysterious group banished to the Twilight Realm for trying to claim the Sacred Realm's power. The Zonai are celestial beings who descended from above. The Interlopers are interdimensional outcasts cast out from below. Two enigmatic civilizations from completely different games, and the community is convinced they are connected. The theory goes that these might represent rival factions of the same divine lineage, one choosing to help Hyrule, the other trying to conquer it. Some theorists take it even further, proposing the Zonai were the true founders of Hyrulean civilization, and that official history deliberately erased their role. Others link them to the Sheikah as different branches of the same divine heritage, which would make Hyrule's power structure way more tangled than anyone realized. And Nintendo? They confirm the Zonai are descendants of sky gods. That's it. No elaboration, no confirmation on whether any Zonai still exist, and absolutely zero comment on the Interloper connection. They won't say yes, they won't say no, and the community is losing its mind over it. But if the Zonai's mysterious origins bother you, wait until you hear about an ancient weapon that nobody can explain. Ganon's Trident of Power. Four Swords Adventures is the black sheep of the Zelda franchise. Nobody talks about it, nobody argues about its timeline placement, and most fans pretend it doesn't exist, which is a problem because it contains one of the most unsettling mysteries in the entire series. In Four Swords Adventures, Ganondorf discovers an ancient trident hidden inside a pyramid in the Desert of Doubt. The moment he grabs it, he transforms into beast form Ganon and gains the ability to banish people directly into the Dark World. That's not a minor power boost, that's a reality rewriting weapon. But here's the thing, nobody asks, who built it? The game explicitly describes the trident as a weapon crafted for evil, not repurposed, not corrupted over time, crafted. Somebody designed a weapon whose entire purpose was pure destruction, then left it inside a pyramid like a gift basket for the next aspiring Dark Lord. That implies an ancient civilization with deep knowledge of dark magic, sophisticated enough to forge something that powerful, and twisted enough to want to. Some theorists suggest the trident might possess its own malevolent intelligence, meaning Ganondorf didn't find the trident. The trident found him. It sat in that pyramid for centuries, waiting for someone ambitious and angry enough to walk in and grab it, which is, not ideal. Nintendo has given us exactly nothing. No creator, no origin, no explanation. The trident's mystery gets buried under the fact that Four Swords Adventures barely registers in timeline discussions, so the broader fandom never even thinks to ask. But if a forgotten weapon in a forgotten game is unsettling, wait until you see what's hiding in the mountains of Twilight Princess. The Snow Peak Ruins Fortress. Most Zelda dungeons make sense. Ancient temple, evil lair, haunted forest. You walk in, you know what you're dealing with. Snow Peak Ruins doesn't give you that luxury, because this is a dungeon that's also someone's house, and nobody can figure out why. Twilight Princess's fifth dungeon sits at the top of a frozen mountain, and the second you walk inside, something feels off. Not because it's dangerous, but because it's cozy. There's a master bedroom, there's a kitchen. Yeto is literally making you soup while you fight through the place. But then you turn a corner and you're staring at military-grade fortifications and defensive architecture that no Yeti couple slapped together on a weekend. Here's the thing, the sophistication points to an intelligent, complex civilization, Hylian or Sheikah level construction. The leading theory is that this was originally a military stronghold, built by an ancient civilization and then abandoned. Yeto and Yetta found it centuries later, threw some rugs down, started cooking, and called it home. Which is, relatable. But that raises the obvious question, who builds a fortress on top of an isolated frozen mountain and then just leaves? What were they defending against? What were they keeping in? Nintendo gives us zero answers, no developer commentary, no lore drops. The architects, the timeline, the original purpose, all blank. It's the coziest mystery in the entire series. A dungeon where something is clearly, deeply wrong, but your host keeps offering you pumpkin soup. But if a haunted mansion with no history is unsettling, wait until you hear about a royal family member who apparently never existed, the mother of Prince Sidon. The Zora royal family tree is one of the most thoroughly documented lineages in all of Zelda. You've got King Dorephan as the father, Mipha as the older sister, ancestors stretching back through Princess Ruto and King Zora the 16th. Nintendo literally built a genealogy for fish people. And yet, there's one slot that's completely empty. Sidon's mother doesn't exist. Not in dialogue, not in environmental storytelling, not in item descriptions, not in a single throwaway line from any NPC across 2 entire games. She's just gone. Which is, not ideal. Here's the thing. This isn't a case where Nintendo forgot to fill in a detail. They went out of their way to establish every other branch of Sidon's family tree. They gave him ancestors, they gave him a wife and Tears of the Kingdom. They built an entire memorial statue for his dead sister, but his mother? Zero. Nothing. Complete silence. The leading theory is simple. She died before Breath of the Wild, and her loss is the unspoken tragedy that shaped Sidon into the relentlessly positive prince we meet. Some fans think she may have been a non-royal Zora, explaining why her name doesn't appear in records dominated by titles and bloodlines. But nobody actually knows, because nobody in the game will talk about her. Nintendo didn't accidentally leave that slot blank. They built an entire royal genealogy and deliberately left one name out. That feels pointed, but if a missing mother is haunting, wait until you hear about a mask that might contain the soul of something far older than any Zora king. The fierce deity's soul. Every transformation mask in Majora's Mask connects to something. The Deku mask comes from a Deku scrub. The Goron mask comes from a Goron warrior. The Zora mask comes from a Zora guitarist. You put on the fierce deity mask, and Link becomes something that doesn't connect to anything. No known species, no known civilization. Just raw, unexplained power from absolutely nowhere, and nobody at Nintendo will tell you what it is. Here's what we know for certain. The fierce deity mask transforms Link into a towering warrior with blank white eyes, facial markings that match Zero established cultures in the Zelda universe, and a double helix sword that fires energy beams capable of shredding final bosses like their tutorial enemies. It is, without exaggeration, the most powerful form Link has ever taken, and the game gives you exactly zero explanation for where this thing came from. The leading theory proposes the fierce deity is a warrior spirit from another dimension entirely. Its aesthetic doesn't match Termina, it doesn't match Hyrule, it doesn't match anything. Some fans suggest it's actually a corrupted divine warrior related to Hylia, whose power was sealed inside a mask for reasons lost to history. Cool theory, literally nothing confirming it. What makes this worse is that the fierce deity armor shows up in Breath of the Wild as scannable amiibo gear. Nintendo offers no explanation. They just put it in the game and walked away. The fierce deity is the only mass transformation that makes Link feel like something other than Link, and whether the thing inside that mask is alive, dead, or divine, Nintendo isn't saying a word. But if one mysterious entity with no origin story bothers you, wait until you hear about 3 of them flying circles around Hyrule with zero explanation. The 3 elemental dragons. 3 god-tier elemental entities fly across the entire map of Hyrule on a daily basis, and nobody in the game seems to care. Dinral, Farosh, and Naydra are massive serpentine spirits embodying fire, electricity, and ice, each one patrolling specific regions on predictable flight paths like they're punching a cosmic time clock. Dinral roams Eldin and the Great Hyrule Forest. Farosh glides through Farin. Naydra circles Lanayru. They do this forever. They never stop. They never speak. And here's the thing, nobody in Hyrule acknowledges them. No NPC looks up at the sky and says, "Hey, what's that enormous glowing dragon doing over the mountain?" They just exist, silently, like the world's most spectacular background decoration. The leading theory is that these dragons are divine spirits bound to Hyrule to maintain elemental equilibrium. Their apparent immortality, their rigid patrol routes, their total lack of free will or deviation from pattern, all of it suggests cosmic responsibility rather than choice. They're not living creatures, they're maintenance systems with scales. But the most bizarre part is how you interact with them. These are beings of enormous visual and metaphysical significance. Ancient, beautiful, possibly divine. And your only relationship with them is shooting arrows at their bodies to harvest crafting materials. No dialogue, no quests, no narrative engagement whatsoever. Just nice horn, I need that for an upgrade. The disconnect between their majesty and their gameplay function is genuinely one of the strangest design choices in the series. I don't know what to tell you, but if you think mysterious ancient beings are confusing, wait until you see what happens when you complete every shrine in the game. The Ancient Heroes aspect. You complete all 152 shrines in Tears of the Kingdom, every single one. You solve every puzzle, clear every combat trial, and trek across the entire map to find them all. And your reward is an armor set described as containing the spirit of a hero who saved Hyrule 10,000 years ago during the original Calamity Ganon battle. Cool. More questions. Thanks, Nintendo. The leading theory is straightforward enough. This is a previous incarnation of Link, consistent with the series' established reincarnation cycle. The hero's soul fights, dies, gets reborn, fights again. If that's the case, it means Link's spirit has been locked in the same war for at least 10,000 years, which is, not ideal. But here's where it gets complicated. Some theorists propose this could be an entirely separate heroic figure, someone whose story was overshadowed by Link's canonical prominence. And if that's true, it breaks the entire reincarnation framework the series has built across dozens of games. Either every hero is Link or they're not. Then there's the description itself. It says the armor contains a hero's spirit. But Nintendo never clarifies whether that means an actual trapped consciousness, a residual magical imprint, or just a metaphorical legacy. Three wildly different things treated as interchangeable. Nintendo confirms the ancient hero is the warrior depicted in ancient tapestries battling Calamity Ganon. That's it. No biographical details, no confirmation of the Link connection. You do literally everything the game asks of you, and your prize is a mystery wrapped in vague item text. But if one ancient hero raises this many questions, wait until you hear what happened to the most powerful artifact in the entire franchise. The fate of the Triforce. The Triforce drove literally every major conflict in this franchise for 30 years. Wars were fought over it, timelines split because of it. Ganondorf's entire motivation across multiple incarnations boils down to, I want the golden triangles. And now, it's basically gone. Here's the thing, if you track the Triforce's presence across the timeline, it doesn't just fade, it vanishes. In the earliest games, it's the whole point. By Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's barely a footnote. The leading theory proposes that the royal family, roughly 10,000 years before Breath of the Wild, wished upon the complete Triforce to transform it from a physical object into a sealing power bound exclusively to the Zelda bloodline. No more golden triangles sitting in a temple, waiting for the next power-hungry warlord to grab them. And in the adult timeline, the Zelda Encyclopedia suggests the Triforce may have been annihilated entirely after Wind Waker, just gone. But here's where it gets complicated. Nintendo won't confirm any of this. The encyclopedia discusses the Triforce's apparent disappearance, but refuses to say whether it was destroyed, hidden, or transformed. And that silence isn't accidental, because confirming the Triforce is gone closes doors forever. No more artifact hunts, no more Sacred Realm as a plot device. But confirming it still exists demands an explanation for why nobody's mentioned it in 2 entire games. Nintendo is trapped by their own creation, and their only move is to say nothing. 30 years of storytelling built on 3 golden triangles, and nobody at the company will tell you if they still exist. That's not just a mystery. That's the mystery that determines the future of the entire franchise. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click the video on the screen now.